Good afternoon. We're here in Treasure Island. Have a couple of important announcements. I'm joined with Kevin Guthrie. I know you've seen him a lot. Jared Perdue, Department of Transportation. General John Haas, our National Guard. We've got local officials, Commissioner Peters, Mayors Rector and Payne, and then we have Senators DeSigley and Hooper, and then Representative Jocks and Linda Cheney. I want to make sure people know. So, obviously the storm came in on the West Coast, really disabled the port in Manatee and interrupted in Tampa. So we have done a number of these fuel sites. People actually get free gas. Imagine that. So you can go in. So we've got 9 in the greater area, including like Sarasota, Bradenton area. So Tom Bennett Park in Bradenton, Plant City Stadium in Plant City, Central Lot, parking lot in St. Pete, New College of Florida, Sarasota, South Florida State College in Arcadia, Charlotte Sports Park in Port Charlotte, Suncoast Technical College in Northport, St. Pete College, Tarpon Springs in Tarpon Springs, and then the East Bay Raceway in Tampa. So you can go to the floridadisaster.org/updates, and it'll have all of that on there, and you can see the hours. I mean, some of them are 7 to 7, some are 10 to 7 today. Obviously, at this point, they're all open, but you'll be able to see that, and those will remain open. Even though they're bringing in massive amounts of fuel now, those sites will be open, and again, it's free. It's 10 gallons, we're trying to say, just to get as many people through, but it gives you an opportunity to be able to do that. As I mentioned, Port of Tampa is bringing in a lot of fuel. They're not at 100% yet, operations, but they're doing a lot. We were anticipating Manatee was going to be out for a long time. Kevin and Jared, and we just really wanted to collaborate to get fuel coming in. So I'm happy to report that even though there's been significant damage, we've worked with the port, the tenants and operators to get things moving. And so you are seeing fuel now come in and be unloaded in Manatee at the port there. And a lot of people didn't think that was going to be possible this soon. So we appreciate collaboration and getting the job done. So far, just the state operations alone, we've deployed millions of gallons of diesel and motor vehicle gas. Florida Highway Patrol continues to escort fuel tankers throughout the state. They've escorted over 100 tankers since Milton made landfall. Power restoration. As of 3 o'clock, since the storm hit, 3.25 million accounts have been restored, and 818,000 accounts remain outstanding. Most of that is Duke and Tico and Pinellas and Hillsborough. Co-ops and munis have got very low numbers now, and FP&L statewide, they're under 200,000 for what they're doing. So there's only Hillsborough and Pinellas have more than 25% out. And Sarasota's now, I think, about 17% out, and Manatee is close to getting down to about 20% out. And I know they're continuing to work, and you see these trucks everywhere. I mean, you have, we've never had this many trucks before in the state, so we appreciate everybody that's been working on that effort. Here in Pinellas County, we fulfilled a lot of requests. We did 4 truckloads of water for the schools in Pinellas. We did 2,000 liters of water for their shelters. We did hundreds of tarps. We did pallets of water for Friends of Stray Animal Rescue. Brought in 160 ambulances, 8 boats, 2 high water vehicles, tens of thousands of meals ready to eat, 6 vac trucks at the staging area, 2 shower trailers for first responders, 4 toilet trailers for first responders, 2 comfort stations, 3 standalone cell phone charging stations, and 20 generators, and they're continuing to work and fulfill requests as need be. We have all airports except Sarasota Bradenton that's open for commercial. That'll be passenger. I think it'll be on Wednesday for Sarasota Bradenton Airport. We had over 50 school districts closed at the end of last week. 40 of those that experienced closures will be back open on Monday. For the latest school information, you can go to fldoe.org/storm info. Now, we've seen great jobs with search and rescue. We had the Florida State Guard, got a couple hundred people in a flooding situation. I think it was in Pasco County. I know the local law enforcement have been working, but we've had some major post-storm water rises. We were in Plant City. You go into that part of Hillsborough County, you saw a lot of things still with high water. And so that's necessitated more rescues, and that's been great. People have done it, and we've had a lot of success, but we've also had a stabilization in those requests in the aftermath of the storm, and that's something that is good. I mean, we don't want to have to be doing this for weeks. That must mean there's a lot of problems, and I know we saw that in Western North Carolina. So it's a good thing that that's stabilized. We've got the local folks. They've got a lot going on, but we also have a lot of ability in the state to continue to make an impact even beyond the search and rescue mission. So you saw coming in out here on Treasure Island, the thing you notice more than anything is not that necessarily lines are down or that buildings are destroyed. There obviously has been damage, but you just see so much debris. People have done the debris because their homes got flooded, the businesses got flooded, and then the furniture, or they had to gut the drywall, all this stuff basically became trash, and you got to have a way to deal with that. Now, leading into Milton, we knew it came on the heels of Helene. We didn't know if this debris would be a hazard. We thought it might be. It turned out probably wasn't necessarily as much of a hazard here because the storm's strongest winds were further south, but we put a lot of emphasis on let's supercharge debris efforts to get it out of here in advance of Milton. So we had 24/7 operations. We took a lot of our trucks from the state that does things. I mean, you know, these guys help build your roads. I mean, we've got a lot of jobs we're doing normally, but we paused that and then surged, and it was about a 72-hour. And I think just in Pinellas County, they did 40,000 plus cubic yards of debris for just this small mission. So that's really impactful, and it's important. And I was glad to hear that, but there's still a lot of debris outstanding. And so we want to make sure that we get this debris done. Traditionally on these storms, the debris takes like a year, sometimes more than that, sometimes 9 months, but it just takes a long time, and a lot of it is paperwork. People are worried. A city's going to be worried about getting reimbursed for the cost. They hire contractors. FEMA has different requirements. You only get 75% normally with disasters. So then the locals got to come up with 12.5, and usually the state will take 12.5. But it just makes it things slow. So we want to figure out. We have been approved by the president for 100% debris removal reimbursements for 90 days. So we should take advantage of that. That makes it really, really positive to be able to do. But if you wait, if it takes a year, then you're not going to get the bang for the buck. So we want to step up and help out in this effort on the state. Even though it's usually done by cities and counties, we feel that we do have some resources that are not necessarily being used right now, given the stabilization of the rescue mission. And we want to be able to bring it to bear to help our communities. So today I'm directing over 2,800 personnel from the Florida Department of Transportation, the Florida State Guard, the Florida National Guard, the Florida Highway Patrol, and urban search and rescue teams to continue work around the state on debris removal. We've committed 442 pieces of heavy equipment, 655 FDOT crew members, 4 debris pickup missions throughout the impacted area already. Obviously, we're focusing very heavily on Pinellas County, Manatee, and Sarasota, particularly on those barrier islands, but not limited to that. I mean, there's debris beyond that. In the 48 hours after Milton's landfall, FDOT picked up another 4,000 cubic yards of debris on state roads, and we're continuing to make sure those missions are complete. But we want to utilize the resources we have to get this debris done and help our local communities as much as possible. So I've directed Florida Department of Transportation to fulfill debris removal missions submitted by fiscally constrained counties within the impact area as well. We don't have as many of those because Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Manatee, Sarasota are not fiscally constrained counties, but some of the ones interior and some of the ones in North Florida we know could qualify for that. So I don't want local communities facing these massive bills to think that somehow the job's not going to get done. It is going to get done. Now, Kevin Guthrie is going to talk about us working with FEMA to be able to utilize and leverage this money for cleanup. But he, under his authority as the managing official for this disaster, or both of these disasters, is lifting red tape. Florida Department of Emergency Management is conducting direct permitting on new debris management sites. We'll get that done very quickly. Florida Department of Transportation has suspended size and weight restrictions for vehicles conducting debris removal. And this is important, so we're happy to do that. We also want to make sure that all locals are on all hands on deck and that we're moving very rapidly across both city, county, and state levels of government. So we are going to require that local entities identify county, city, and special district properties for additional expedited debris management sites. You can get that permitted very quickly. We want to make sure people have sites to be able to bring the debris. The debris's got to be 24/7 over this 90-day period. That's the way you get the job done, to make sure you're doing it. We also want the division and local entities to engage to file expedited project worksheets. This is bureaucratic speak, but basically what it means is you can get the money soon instead of having to front it and then fight for a year or year and a half to get the money back. So we got to utilize this so that these contractors are lined up and that they're doing the work. And so Kevin will work with them to be able to do. We are also going to create a reporting of debris, the number of cubic yards hauled and disposed of each day. So our municipalities, our counties are going to have to participate in this. The state assets will be posting that. But what we want to do is post the daily debris removal figures on a new state portal that'll be accessible to the public so that the public is able to track the progress that's being made. So this will be a State of Florida debris transparency portal. It will list each locality responsible for debris cleanup and the amount of debris they get picked up each day. And we just want to make sure that there's full transparency and that we're utilizing this great opportunity to get this 90 days of reimbursement by FEMA. Within hours after Hurricane Milton's landfall, our Activate Hope was mobilized to support individuals and families impacted by Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. Hope, Florida's disaster arm, Activate Hope is a program designed to help people find help following a disaster like a hurricane. You know, we have people, particularly elderly, they got debris, and when they find out they can call, people will go and help. And they're already seeing that happen. It's really good. So we appreciate all those charitable organizations that have stepped up. We've also have a lot of support from private sector partners who've come in and made sizable donations of cash as well as products, and a lot of times food and water. Walmart, Sunshine Health, Simply Healthcare, Comcast, Wawa, Better Together, United Healthcare, Publix, DentaQuest, and AT&T, and I know many more want to come in and help. So please do that. We will utilize that. And I know Kevin's been talking with a lot of different partners about every kind of thing to come in and leverage that. The Hope Florida line is open 24/7, 1-833-GET-HOPE, 1-833-GET-HOPE. We've assisted 4,000 individuals on the Hope line since Milton made landfall. And the Hope Bus has been deployed to impacted areas each day to assist in person. Over 3,000 individuals have been assisted at Hope Bus sites so far since Milton made landfall. Today, the Hope Bus will be at New College of Florida until 7 in Hillsborough County, Mission Church. It will be 2 to 5 in Temple Terrace, Pinellas County, 12 to 5, Tangerine Plaza in St. Petersburg. So New College, Sarasota, Mission Hill Church in Temple Terrace, Tangerine Plaza in St. Petersburg. You also have Hope teams that are out canvassing to help people, and we'll have Hope buses in other locations as well. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved. I know people have been working nonstop now for many weeks. We've got a lot of work left to do, but I think this debris mission is something that is important just to utilize the resources of 90-day 100% reimbursement, but two, it's good for quality of life to be able to have these places be pretty again, and also for morale so that people see progress being made, because it's not easy. There's a long road that you have to go, but when people see progress, they feel really good about it, and that's just the way it's got to be. So this is an unprecedented effort for the state of Florida to marshal key resources, including even our National Guard, to do swift debris removal to help local and county governments, and we will continue to do that. We've got 90 days to be able to get the job done. I know in most disasters, there's debris in some of these disasters from the past, especially in some of these other states, and they just go, we don't want that here. We want to get the job done. Okay, Kevin Guthrie.
Good afternoon, Governor. I want to thank you for empowering the State Emergency Response Team and ensuring we can provide the needed support to all of our impacted communities as quickly as possible. We're going to start where the Governor talked about our debris removal. 90 days, 100%. It's time to get after it. No excuses. You've heard him talk about that. We've cut the red tape. We've cut the hours of operation. We're going 24/7. We've waived weights and measures. We can keep trucks moving. You see a lot of equipment that the state owns right out here, getting ready to get after it. But it's not just a state responsibility. This is also a city and a county government responsibility. It is also city and counties, activate your vendors, activate your haulers. This is not just hit the easy button. This is all of us. All together, we got to all get into it and get after it. So please help us with that. To help you do that, I just sat down with the cities of South Pasadena. I sat down with Treasure Island, and I sat down with St. Pete Beach. They were overwhelmed. Where do we start? I want to assure every city that's out here, all across this disaster area, every county that does not know how to even get started, call us. We'll send somebody to help you. It is worth us investing a couple of $1,000s to send some technical experts to you to help you get on the right path from the beginning. We've got to get after it, though. You got to put those requests in now. Let us know you need help so that we can come and help you. We'll fill out those project worksheets. Again, as the government said, it's very, very bureaucratic, so I'm just going to break it down. Just a plain old peanut butter and jelly, if you will. Right now, all we want to do is get your estimates. So, for instance, if there's 100,000 cubic yards out here and it costs $10 a cubic yard to get that done, I think the math on that is about $10 million. We'd write an expedited project worksheet, get that submitted to FEMA. We put in a monitoring line that's about 25% of that cost. So we're going to submit a project worksheet to FEMA for $12.5 million. We get that submitted usually within days, not weeks, months, or years, usually within days. Half of that money is in your bank account for you to get ready to go moving and get your haulers started. So we want everybody to take advantage of that. The state continues to have twice daily county coordination calls to ensure we are meeting the needs of requested resources for our communities. Search and rescue missions have pretty much finished up, except for a couple where, for example, in Pinellas County, we do have search and rescue entities that are Florida-centric that are going door to door doing one last secondary search. If you're still in need of reunification with a loved one, the Red Cross has set up their reunification line. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Rivers are continuing to rise, as the governor has already mentioned. We flew in yesterday. There was still some rising water. If you're in that situation, make sure you're evacuating as needed. You need to make that local decision for yourself. There are still shelters open throughout the state of Florida for you to go to. If that does happen, don't move through running water. Don't go walking through muddy water. That water could contain bacteria. If you get a scratch on your leg, you could end up being in a very, very dire situation. Assistance is available to residents who receive damages from Milton. Residents can go today, as well as Debbie and as well as Helene, and visit disasterassistance.gov, download the FEMA app, or call 1-800-621-3362. If you're a homeowner, I need you to listen to me right now. I'm not talking to counties and cities. I'm not talking to government. I'm talking to homeowners. If you've been impacted by 2 or more disasters, let's say you were impacted by Debbie, Helene, and Milton, make sure when you file your paperwork, make sure when you file your application, you talk about Debbie and Debbie only. You talk about Helene and Helene only. You talk about Milton and Milton only. If you start to transfer them over and you talk about one application that references another storm, it's going to automatically kicked out. All right? Those are bureaucrats. You can't help them. All right? But you can help yourself. You can help yourself by keeping it simple. Just talk about one storm at a time, reference only that storm. That's going to help you a long ways. Please make sure, I've already said that, as you continue to take your own recovery actions in your home, remember to wear appropriate safety gear and clean up responsibly. Don't touch any hazardous waste. Make sure you don't touch any power lines. If you, especially in this area, I've heard this from all the city managers, we have an older community. If you have no business getting on a ladder, don't get on a ladder. If you have no business operating a chainsaw, don't operate a chainsaw. Call Crisis Cleanup. Call 1-833-GET-HOPE. We'll send volunteers to your house and help you with it, free of charge. Somebody comes to your house and they want money, they want cash money, tell them to go pack sand and leave, all right? Time to leave. Nobody should be doing that. Do not pay anybody anything. If you require, before you hire anyone, make sure you check their license, myfloridalicense.com, myfloridalicense.com. If you find somebody who's representing themselves as a licensed business and they don't have a license, make sure you call the Department of Business Professional Regulation or the Attorney General to report that individual. Last but not least, if you're operating a generator, because I know many of you will not get power back until maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, make sure you keep that generator 20 feet away from any open door of your home. Do not put it in your garage 20 feet out into the driveway outside your garage. Make sure that when you run out of gas, you let it cool down for 20 minutes. And then if you have invest $20 and go get you a carbon monoxide alarm and put it in your house. That could save your life. Governor, as always, I appreciate your leadership. You can be sure to get the latest updates from us at FLSERT on X and Instagram and at FDEM on Facebook. Again, thank you, Governor.
All right, thank you, Governor, and good afternoon. Really proud of FDOT and their commitment to serving our communities. The men and women at FDOT are committed to getting all of you back to normal as quickly as possible. We were honored to serve on the governor's debris mission leading up to Hurricane Milton. Many of those men and women worked right up until the very last second, went home, prepared their homes for the storm, and then came right back to work to do cut and toss, road clearing, emergency repairs, and signal restoration. I'm really proud of what the team has accomplished so far. We have already cleared, with cut and toss teams, 100% of our state roads. That's over 12,000 miles in 24 hours. Our bridge inspectors have completed inspections on all local and state-owned bridges, over 2,400 bridges. We've been working very closely with our partners at Port Tampa Bay and Port Manatee to get their fuel operations back online as soon as possible. Port Tampa Bay has restored power, is actively receiving fuel vessels, and most of their fuel terminals are full throttle, moving trucks as we speak. As you heard from the governor, we also worked with Seaport Manatee. We thought they were going to be closed down because of all the damage for a long time. We were able to get that fuel terminal back up and running as well, and they have been moving trucks out of there. So really excited about that. We should, from Port Tampa Bay, they're anticipating moving over 2,000 trucks in a 24-hour period. So they're going full throttle. With cut and toss done, with signal restoration done, we've deployed over 400 generators to traffic signals to get those up and running so that people can move around while power continues to be restored. So we're shifting our focus back to debris. The governor has once again called on us and all state agencies and all of our resources to get the debris removed as quickly as possible. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're committed to that mission. And so over 2,800 personnel from FDOT, the Florida State Guard, the Florida National Guard, the Highway Patrol, and Urban Search and Rescue teams have been deployed. We will be picking up debris on state roads 24/7 around the clock. You heard the governor. He means it. We're going to do it, and we're going to get this debris removed, and we're going to remove as much as we possibly can over the next 90 days while that 100% reimbursement is available. Also, thanks to the governor's leadership, you all know we were able to help fellow Americans as part of Operation Blue Ridge. We brought all those resources home to respond to Milton. Now, some of those states have turned around and offered to help us. Americans helping fellow Americans. Appreciate the governor's leadership in that. Alabama DOT, Tennessee DOT, and Louisiana DOT have both offered to help us on the governor's debris mission. We're very excited to receive them and embrace that spirit of camaraderie. Also, we will be working to pick up this debris, and we will be assisting the debris in the fiscally constrained counties, as you heard from the governor. This is something we've done in the last few storm seasons. We don't want those fiscally constrained counties and those communities to struggle and worry about getting reimbursement, and so we're going to continue to help with that. I would like to conclude by reminding you that if you need traffic information, fl511.com is the best place to get it. It's accurate. We update it live. Again, Governor, thank you for your leadership, and we're committed to getting the job done.
Okay, so we've got a mission here on this debris. We've got 90 days of 100% reimbursement, and as Kevin Guthrie said, any of these cities, towns, even the counties, if you guys need help on this, that in terms of the paperwork, look, it's a pain. But our guys, we've got people that do this for a living, basically, and they can walk you through. You're going to be able to get a lot of money up front, and we're going to be able to, I think, make a big difference in the recoveries here. And it's these are the type of things that can just languish. Sometimes they do, and in other disasters that has happened certainly around the country. But this is our time to get the job done. So we want to be helpful. I think the effort that we're putting in to supplement this is unprecedented. I think it's going to make a difference, and we're happy to do it. Okay, do we have any questions?
Hi, first of all, we're so grateful to have you. I have a lot of people that are asking about the mining in Florida. Obviously, that has people from there and from their homes. Is it at all possible to start that program up so that we can abandon the mining?
Well, I think it's not a question. I think I think it was so popular that what the legislature provided has been done. But I would be willing to bet that you will see that be replenished by the legislature. So they probably wouldn't do it before November, but I think after November, we're already going to have them do stuff on these condos and stuff anyways. And I know that was part of the discussion, so I'd anticipate you'd see support. I would certainly support that. Well, so the question is gas in North Pinellas County. So we opened a fuel depot in Tarpon Springs, there at St. Pete College, Tarpon Springs. So you go, it's free. So if people want to go, is that open till 7 tonight? Till 7 o'clock tonight. It's right up there. I think it's off Klosterman, and so that's there. And then I think if you heard both Jared and Kevin talk about massive amounts of fuel into the ports and being brought out. So you're going to see those gas stations, result. I mean, some of them obviously need power. So if they don't have power, now we've offered generators. I know we did 3 generators.
Actually, we did 19 throughout the entire area.
Okay, so we've responded to gas stations. They're supposed to have generators. Like, unless you're a little rinky-dink, you're supposed to have one. But I guess the way they wrote that law years ago, it's easy to be able to get in loophole. So a lot of them aren't using generators. We've done 19, so they're running. Some of these others, if they don't have a generator, we're willing to help. But then if they don't have power yet, even if they have gas there, you're not going to be able to pump the gas. So either way, we want to be helpful. But if you are in North Pinellas, we do have that Tarpon Springs location. We've got one in southern St. Pete, and then one in Tarpon. So kind of the two extremes of Pinellas County, each have a fuel depot. Okay, let's get the job done, guys. We can do it. Make Florida beautiful again. Thanks.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, General. It'll happen.
We're here in Treasure Island, have a couple of important announcements. I'm joined with Kevin Guthrie. I know you've seen him a lot. Jared Perdue, Department of Transportation. General John Haas, our National Guard. We've got local officials, Commissioner Peters, Mayors Rector and Payne, and then we have Senators DeSantis and Hooper, and then Representative Jocks and Linda Cheney. I want to make sure people know. So, obviously the storm came in on the West Coast, really disabled the port in Manatee and interrupted in Tampa. So we have done a number of these fuel sites. People actually get free gas. Imagine that. So you can go in. So we've got 9 in the greater area, including like Sarasota, Bradenton area. So Tom Bennett Park in Bradenton, Plant City Stadium in Plant City, Central Lot parking lot in St. Pete, New College of Florida, Sarasota, South Florida State College in Arcadia, Charlotte Sports Park in Port Charlotte, Suncoast Technical College in Northport, St. Pete College Tarpon Springs in Tarpon Springs, and then the East Bay Raceway in Tampa. So you can go to the floridadisaster.org/updates, and it'll have all of that on there, and you can see the hours. I mean, some of them are 7 to 7, some are 10 to 7 today. Obviously, at this point, they're all open, but you'll be able to see that, and those will remain open. Even though they're bringing in massive amounts of fuel now, those sites will be open, and again, it's free. It's 10 gallons, we're trying to say, just to get as many people through, but it gives you an opportunity to be able to do that. As I mentioned, Port of Tampa is bringing in a lot of fuel. They're not at 100% yet, operations, but they're doing a lot. We were anticipating Manatee was going to be out for a long time. Kevin and Jared, and we just really wanted to collaborate to get fuel coming in. So I'm happy to report that even though there's been significant damage, we've worked with the port, the tenants and operators to get things moving. And so you are seeing fuel now